All right, let's just jump straight into a split screen, shall we? So one of these cameras is the brand new DJI Action 5 Pro that has just been announced. Hello, Carrie.
Hi.
Which one looks better, the one on the left, the one in the middle, or the one on the right?
Oh, it's like a guessing game.
I'm not even gonna tell you what all the cameras are. You're just gonna have to just look at it and just decide which one's your favorite picture, right? Because ultimately that's what it comes down to. All these specs of this and that, I don't know. Cool, what looks the best? Carrie, are you having a good day?
Yeah, I'm having a great day. The weather finally cooled down.
I'm wearing a microphone right here, and so is Carrie. That's
Hello.
why you can hear us both so clearly. But they're both being recorded into the Action 5 Pro. 2 mics into 1 camera.
I know that was one of the things that you really wanted.
You know that saying, sound is 50% of video, right? Yeah,
You were
it's
way
true.
more
You need to
picky about audio than anything else.
I'll just show you a bunch of clips and you just tell me which one you think.
Potato jet!
Hey, what's up? All right, we got a cameo.
And just continued on with his bike ride.
I know,
He's
right?
having a great day too.
I guess I kind of stick out when I have like a little rig with 3 cameras built into it, huh? Now, in terms of settings, I basically just took all these cameras and did a factory reset, so everything's pretty default. I did do a few things though, like lowering the digital sharpness on all of them because I hate digital sharpness, but also bumping the resolution to the highest it can go to. Which one's your favorite so far?
The one in the center looks good. The colors, the exposure.
I think I like this one. So if I'm
On the
looking
left?
at it, the left one the best. But sometimes it feels a little too bright.
I think like the middle one, I don't know.
You like the middle one?
Yeah. I don't feel I like the right one because it feels too dark.
So now we're inside of a car, so a little bit trickier for the camera to look good because we need a lot of dynamic range, right? We have a lot of bright light outside and darkness shadow inside of here. What'd you say about the one in the middle?
It has clarity.
It looks like a clarity filter. I have the sharpness turned down on all these cameras actually. Yeah.
Oh my God, you look like you're changing tires all day in the middle one. Look at that. I'm gonna go with left. Yeah.
For your favorite?
I have a lot of spots. Like,
In the middle one?
yeah.
Like in the shadows, the middle one gets a lot more muddy.
I'm not a fan of middle or right.
See, this one just really looks like an iPhone now.
Right, because it's blown out.
Yes.
I just don't like how your skin looks with the middle. It looks like HDR. If I could only have one, it'd be the one on the left.
In terms of auto exposure, it looks like this one right here seems a little bit overly hot, right? Like a little overexposed, probably because, you know, there's a lot of darkness in my surroundings, so it's trying to just like lift everything up. So auto exposure, these two look better, but how's my highlights look? Right here, this looks like pretty intense, like a lot of face contrast. This is sunset / dusk.
I'd go with the middle one here.
I actually like this warm glow on Chicky.
Do you like the middle on these?
On this particular shot. Because it's warm, so I feel like you put a filter on it. And I think that's why I like it. It's more of like an aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would go again. Left.
And why is that?
There was more details on the sunsets.
You get all that gradient in the sky on the left.
Exactly.
I would go with the one on the left. Seems like more dynamic range.
Ooh, the cliff shot. Yeah, probably the left one on this one.
Your favorite?
Favorite is still this one on the left. Just overall dynamic range.
I would go with the one on the left. Seems like more dynamic range.
Now we are entering low light.
Okay, the one in the middle is garbage. The one on the right is less garbage. The one on the left is the best one.
So with all things considered, which one's your favorite? Which one would you buy?
Oh, jeez. I'd take the one on the left because the one on the left still looks good outside, but once it gets a little bit darker, there's no comparison. Overall, the one on the left is better.
Which one of these cameras would you buy?
Probably the left.
Left?
I agree with my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with the left one. Which one's the left one? I want to know.
Probably buy the one on the left because I use low light a lot and just based on this low light stuff.
Okay, so in case you haven't guessed, the one in the middle is the GoPro Hero 13 Black. I got a whole video about the Hero 13 Black and people seem very disappointed that they didn't just go bigger on the sensor. And this is why, because at dusk, your footage looks like this. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the other two. How do they look? Actually, you know what? The one on the left looks better. That is interesting because it technically has the same size sensor, but it does look better, doesn't it? I guess I might as well just do the big reveal now. The one on the right is the Action 4, and the one on the left is the new Action 5 Pro. Now here's the thing, there's a lot of people that are gonna be like, I film action and I only film action during the daytime. It's like, yeah, makes sense. But isn't it nice to have good low light? Like, isn't it nice to have the option? Now on the spec sheet, it says that this camera can go for 4 hours. But of course, they're going to skew the test to make the battery last long, right? So full HD 24 frames per second. Turn off Wi-Fi. I'm already out of breath. What I really care about is how is the battery life in my settings. So I'm actually shooting 4K and 4x3 right now. It's also Bluetooth transmitting audio to this mic. And my goal today is to outlast the battery on this Action 5 Pro. So this is what you look like right now. 36 minutes and 34 seconds in. One of the things that's interesting though is that most action cameras after, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, it basically just shuts off the screen, right, to save power. The Action 5 actually goes into the screensaver mode. So it actually shows me I've been recording for about 38 minutes now. But the 4x3 is definitely gonna eat at this battery more because it's not just 4K and 16:9, it's actually recording more on the top and bottom too. So that gives me a little bit more flexibility to frame up the top or bottom a little bit. All right, let's continue the ride. I'm gonna try not to use this Wi-Fi too much because I know it drains the battery. I still get to record while using the Wi-Fi at the same time, which is nice. But the app shows me I've been recording for almost an hour now, 56.5 minutes, and I still have 75% battery. What? All right, we're at the 90-minute mark now. I got sweat in my eyeballs. Oh, I got a cactus trying to attack me. I'm not stopping, I'm just taking a quick breather and tie my shoes, okay? You know what's interesting is that it hasn't gone into the screensaver mode. And I think the reason why, it's covered in sweat. So it thinks that the sweat is me touching the screen. I'm gonna try to give it a wipe down. How did they get this battery life so efficient though? I mean, yes, the battery itself does have more capacity than the previous one, but not by that much. So the camera must be super efficient. You know what's really cool though is that you could use the old battery from the Action 4 and put it in the Action 5 Pro, and it still works. This is the point I realized I do not have a light on my mountain bike. Split screen shot with my phone in the ultra wide in this Action 5. Which one looks better? And when I first saw the spec sheet for this thing, the 4-hour battery life definitely stood out to me, but a few other things did also. So operating temperature, usually most consumer cameras are minus 10 degrees Celsius to plus 40, and I'll do like the Fahrenheit conversion on the screen right here. But this is actually minus 20 to plus 45, which is honestly impressive. There's not that many electronics that have that operating range. Over 2.5 hours so far, and you're still recording without cutting. Let's check on the battery. Oh, finally, the battery turned yellow. I might be able to go home soon. So the app says we are 25% battery. I have to do some math. So if 150 minutes used up 75% of the battery, I still have, what, another 50 minutes to go? Is that right? Am I doing that math right? Of course I'm doing it right, I'm Asian. But geez, that's a long time. Like, I need food. I thought this was gonna be a fun experience. Now it's just sad. I'm gonna quit. I'm quitting. Bad things happen after dark. I should just be out getting pizza. So check it out. We're back and it's 167 minutes now. That's crazy. The beginning of this clip is so long ago. You gotta go get food?
Ramen?
I'm so hungry. You want ramen? I have to take a shower. So not only did it record my entire mountain biking experience, but I gave up, I came home, I took a shower, I made plans with Dylan to meet up to get ramen, and we're on our way to get ramen now. You fed the dogs, I took a shower, and then we are on our way to get dinner, and this is still the same clip. Generally speaking, with like a GoPro, if we do like a motorcycle ride, it's usually like, okay, one battery for the trip out, and then a battery for the trip back. But this is like comfortably just one battery. Oh, 200! Whoa! Okay, so it officially died at 203 minutes. That's crazy. Almost 3.5 hours, which is wild. And I just put a new battery in here. It's one of these. So basically this will just last me till tomorrow. What's up, Dylan? GoPro has had like a decade basically being the one and only action camera that was worth getting, right? But when the DJI first came out, it was kind of like the less expensive alternative. And it's been 2 years since the Action 3 came out, the same day that the GoPro Hero 11 came out. I did the same type of comparison test back then, and generally speaking, everyone still preferred the look out of the GoPro. It wasn't necessarily for the fancy specs or resolution or sensor size or any of that. They just go, that one. I like that one, you know? And then last year with the Action 4 and the Hero 12, I didn't get around to making a whole in-depth video about it, but generally speaking, I prefer the image out of the GoPro during the daylight and the Action 4 at night. But this Action 5 Pro might be a big one for DJI because in terms of just overall image quality, I feel like DJI has finally surpassed. On top of the footage just looking gooder, there's also specs too. So waterproof, 20 meters. Carrie's over there saying gooder. It's like not a real word, like she's like disappointed in me because she's like an educated teacher with 2 master's degrees and her husband saying gooder. But the fact that I could go 20 meters deep with the Action 5 without an underwater housing is actually awesome for me, because when I scuba dive, they allow me to go down to 60 feet. So this could go like, I think 65 feet without a housing, 20 meters, because usually it's 10 meters. So quick start is basically where the cameras have been off for a while, and I just hit the record button, they boot up and just start recording. Action's already rolling, and the GoPro is now rolling. Here are the times for both of these cameras, how long they took to boot up and start recording. And it competes on price too, so it's 50 bucks less than the GoPro still, so $349 in US. Now let me go ahead and defend GoPro for a second. Now they haven't really gone down the route of expanding on the sensor size, but they have been expanding their lens options, the macro lens, the anamorphic lens, and the ultra wide, which I have on right now actually, which is why we have this crazy wide field of view. So the Action 5 has a 155-degree field of view, very similar to the GoPro basically, if you don't put on the lens. But if you put the ultra wide angle lens, then you just get this like ridiculously wide view, which is cool if you're trying to get just like a true POV view almost. It's like 170 degrees. Like for example, if I'm wearing it as a chest mount, I do like every little extra bit of width I can get. Now, one of the things that's interesting for moto vlogging is since this can wirelessly connect directly to these wireless mics like the one I'm wearing right now, I actually saw someone take it and just tape it on the inside of their helmet. And recording the sound inside of a helmet is actually really difficult because the microphone is usually like a half an inch away from your mouth and you're talking pretty loud to talk over the wind and all. So pretty much every microphone gets clipped and distorted, but basically I took the mic sensitivity and brought it all the way down to -12. Okay, so right now I'm wearing my helmet and let's see if you can hear me, or does it sound completely distorted. So this is the audio being recorded into the camera. Most microphones I've tested, it sounds pretty awful and distorted and clipped. But the beauty of these DJI mics recording 32-bit float internally is I could download the audio off of the microphone and then sync it up to the footage. And if I swap it out, it sounds more like this. So this is what it sounds like now if I'm using the 32-bit float. Not a bad option for getting pretty good audio out of a motorcycle helmet. And we're traveling now. There's Frank.
Oh, mother.
Did you think someone was trying to jack the Pelican?
Yeah, the Pelican.
There's like, oh, is there a nice camera in there? Oh, probably a nice camera. Bam. You got a mic and I got a mic now.
So it supports up to how many mics?
2 mics.
2 mics.
So just like the Pocket 3 does.
Yeah.
The last Action only supported 1 mic, which is cool. But you know, what if you got a friend with you? But this is just so convenient.
Yeah.
You know, I could literally just shove you in my pocket right now. You're in my pocket now. Just enjoying the lint inside of my pocket right now. And then just bam, and we're back and ready to go again.
So we have audio level meters?
Yeah, on the top, right there.
Testing, testing. Oh yeah, it does peak red.
All right.
Peak, 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 peak. Like that, you know that your audio is working properly.
Right now I have it set up so my microphone goes onto the left channel and yours goes onto the right channel. It goes into a stereo channel. So if you shoot this way, you want to make sure you process it correctly, or else if you put on headphones, it's going to sound weird, right? Yeah. Like Frank's in one ear and I'm in the other. And Resolve, what I do is I take this stereo audio channel, which is a left and right, of course, and I just split them up into 2 different mono channels. And for some professional microphones that have time code, with a GoPro, you basically just like flash it a QR code and it syncs. With the Action 5, you can plug it in with a USB cable. And that's useful for if you have like a bunch of different cameras and a bunch of different microphones. Neither of the cameras are like super precise when it comes to time code, but it's still nice to at least get everything in the right ballpark. And welcome to the other side of the planet.
Yes, we are.
I'm jet lagged as hell. I'm so tired. Is there anything in the specs that stand out that we have not yet covered? Biggest spec is definitely that 4-hour extended battery life, and I did get over 4 hours. I put the camera at HD, like 1080p, and it actually went over 4 hours. So that's awesome. The 4-hour thing is legit. Oh, they have a super night mode. Yeah, I tried the super night mode and you kind of lose a bit of control over the footage. It kind of does its thing. And I found that I get pretty good results just in regular camera modes. So time for my favorite and least favorite things about this new Action 5 Pro. So my favorite has to definitely be the improvement of image quality. When I first saw the specs, it was like, yeah, it looks pretty similar to the Action 4 Pro, but when I got it, the first thing I did was a bunch of side-by-side comparisons with the Action 4. We get a lot more dynamic range. I feel like the textures are better, but also auto exposure, which is one of those things that never really shows up on spec sheets. Like, look at this dynamic range right now. Like, you are inside and we have direct sunlight outside. I like the fact that this is super versatile. You know, you could use it in so many different situations, from just like a travel video or vlogging, or as an action camera, of course. But the other day I was helping Mateo film some social content. They're both wearing microphones and I was just filming vertically. We were filming 2 people have a conversation while they're riding e-bikes and smooth stabilized video. I was just following them with the one wheel. Filming something like that from a traditional mindset That's pretty complex.
Yeah, you need more stuff.
Yeah, but this was just easy. Now time for the least favorite parts about this Action 5 Pro.
Okay, in some situations, it looked a little pastel-y.
Does seem like it likes to overexpose a little bit on auto exposure, but right now I'm trying it out at minus 0.3 exposure value. So, you know, I might just play with that, but we should be able to just like have it like bring the average down a little bit. And I think that'll help with that.
I'll be honest with you, that doesn't bother me that much though. The image quality is good, it's fine. The thing that bothers me from the camera is we don't have a 1/4-inch thread underneath the camera. That bothers me.
Well,
that
I have a small rig cage on it, and now it does.
Yeah, yeah. But that's...
This video is brought to you by Small Rig. Not really, but actually maybe. I do have an idea for a cage I want to make for this camera, so I don't know. If I ever get around to doing it, I'll throw the link in the description. One thing I guess I would like to see more of is improvements in slow-mo. I mean, it is good. It's got 4K 120 in the 4:3 mode and then Full HD at 240, but GoPro just announced like their burst mode, which gives you 400 frames per second. There's a lot of limitations to that burst mode though. It's 720p, lower resolution and cropped in, but it's still 400 frames per second, which is fun. I would love to see more slow-mo. I mean, honestly, there's not much to complain about because it really is really good for an action camera though, but that's important to keep in mind. It is still an action camera. So let's say you competed against like the Pocket 3 with the 1-inch sensor and gimbal stabilized, like it's just a different class, really.
That's a good camera.
Yeah, it's a good
It's a
camera.
good
That's
camera.
all I can say.
It's a
It
good
actually
camera.
is.
It's not a bad camera, it's a good camera.
It's a good
Yeah.
camera. Frank, I'm counting on you to get this shot in for a great outro shot.
Nope.
Oh, you just ruined my outro. This would have been such a good video.